Mr. Klepak, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Aaron.
Yes, sir. Did you get my email I sent out just a little bit ago about how we're going to do?
Yes. I'll call that we're going into closed session and you'll set it up as we're transitioning.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Got it.
Hi, Aaron, are you there?
Miss Moya, sorry, I had to step out for a minute.
That's no
What-
problem, Aaron. I just wanted to make sure I was prepared to share screen and run through the PowerPoint. Can I do that at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just always like to practice just to make sure it's going to come up correctly.
Indeed.
I was able to see your screen when you had it up a minute ago.
Oh, you were? Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you, William. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were on there.
That's all right.
And William, can you see that screen now that says date, title, and it has a link to trainings, interaction with Promethean active panels?
No, you're not sharing your screen right now.
Oh, I'm not. Okay. Let's see what I did wrong.
Should be the green button at the bottom.
Okay. I think I've got to pull my PowerPoint back up. I just want to make sure I have some live links in there, hyperlinks. Let me go to.
There it is.
You can see it now.
Synchronous and asynchronous learning.
Yes, I'm not sure why it's not showing up in the. It's not showing up in the right format for me.
We're seeing it as full screen.
Oh, you are seeing it as full screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna, let's see, but it won't let me go to the live link. Uh-oh. Let me stop it and try it again because earlier it was working. I have too many, I think, open. I'm glad I always get online early and practice.
I'm going to say something out of turn right quick. Mr. Manning, where did you get that logo for your shirt?
Can you see it now, William? Full screen?
I'm not seeing anything right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, I was talking to the mute button. Yeah, I got that when I first got on the board, I believe.
Okay, I'm seeing it now.
Okay. There we go. You're seeing it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I'm going to click on this hyperlink and tell me if it comes up. You'll see interaction with Promethean active panels.
It's loading.
Oh, okay. See, it pops up on mine. I didn't realize there's a delay for y'all.
Oh, you might have to start sharing the other tab that pops up
Yes.
Oh, see?
because you're still sharing the PowerPoint.
Gotcha. So I go to stop share. You
You,
share.
you can go to share and
I
then
gotcha.
another screen.
Now can you see it?
Staff development with virtual learning.
Yeah. Yes, and it says interaction with Promethean active panels.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, so then I'll just go to pause share. No, new share. That's what I need to go to. Oh, this is going to be hard. I've never done this with.
Well, let's start over again. Let's start over again from the beginning. Just go ahead and start your slideshow.
Okay, let me start again. See, on my screen, it shows the split pane. There you go. Is it showing the full pane for you now?
Not yet.
It's not sharing right now.
Oh, rats. Okay, let me start over again. I'm really glad we're on here early. Okay, share screen.
So I'll tell you what you want to do. Go ahead and pull up your PowerPoint and share that.
Okay, let me get there.
Let's do that.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Burning the midnight oil.
Yes. Oh, you're in the building. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. I'm glad you're in the building. See, this is what I see.
Okay.
Are you seeing it now, Aaron?
I do see it. So you want to go up to start your PowerPoint right there.
Right, from beginning.
Top left. Start from beginning.
Okay.
So we have your PowerPoint up now.
Is it full screen for you?
Not full screen.
Okay, if I go to display, I go to duplicate slideshow, it becomes full screen.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So what you're showing for the other part is it's outside of the slideshow, right?
Correct. It's a hyperlink. Like right here is a hyperlink.
Okay. So for this hyperlink, once you click on it, go ahead and click on it.
Okay.
And then go to your screen share. You'll go whether it depends on how you have it set up. Mine is on the bottom. Some people have it up. Go to your screen share again and then click that screen. Once you click that link and it comes up on your screen where you can see it,
Yes,
go
sir.
to your screen again and then select that one.
So staff development with virtual.
And then you have it right there.
Okay.
So you'll have to switch between the two.
Okay.
When
So
you're ready to
then,
go
so
back.
then when I'm ready to go back, I go back to new share and go back to the PowerPoint.
And you'll want to do that
Okay.
one with the full screen one.
and then share. Gotcha. And then I go to the next slide.
Yes.
See if I can do that. You're seeing my slides now, Aaron?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let me see if I can pull up this.
Cherry virtual learning schedules, all that. So
Okay.
each of these are a link, but are these links within the slideshow, or are you linking to?
No, they're links to outside. This is to a Word document that she's clicking on now.
Oh, okay.
So like right now, can you see the Cherry virtual learning schedule?
That came up correctly. Yes.
Okay. So I think I know how to do it. I just always need to go to News Share and toggle between those two,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Whew. Let me practice again. Bay City High School. News Share. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I go to News Share.
One thing to think about is when you're doing this,
Uh-huh.
you're going to have a few seconds delay
Okay.
or whatever you do. So
All right.
just
Just
don't
slow
worry.
down what I'm saying. Give them time to pull it up.
Yes. Don't be too eager and just let.
Okay. I'm glad you told me that because it just pops up on my screen and I think everybody can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you keep on talking, you're going to have like a 2-3 second delay.
Okay.
But yeah, just be mindful of that.
Okay. I think I can do it then.
All right, we are 24 minutes out from start time.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Frankie.
Okay, I want to make sure. Thanks.
Aaron, did you say 24 minutes?
I think it's 6:37. We're starting at well, I guess it'd be 23 minutes now.
Well, I have 6:50 on my phone.
Is my Oh, you're right. My computer clock is wrong. All right, I'll go from my phone. You are correct. We have 9 minutes to start.
Can you hear me, Bob? Can you hear me,
Yes, I
Cletus?
can. Yes, I can, Coach. I can hear you.
All right, good.
Mr. Murphy, I have about 2 minutes. Are we live?
You're right. We got 2 minutes and we are live and ready when you are.
Welcome to the virtual regular board meeting of the Bay City ISD Board of Trustees. This is Monday, August 17. It is 7 p.m. Pursuant to the Governor Abbott's temporary suspension of open meetings laws issued on March 16, 2020, and consistent with new state and local mandates on public health and social distancing, this regular meeting of the Bay City ISD Board of Trustees will be conducted via Zoom, which will be audible to the board and public at the link provided at the top of the agenda notice. A quorum of the Board of Trustees will not be physically present at one location, and for safety reasons, we will not be permitting in-person attendance by members of the public or staff. The public was given the opportunity to submit comments for review by the board by emailing to Administrative Assistant Linda Estrada at her email address. This meeting is now called to order, and we'll take a voice roll call. Clepack here. Cole.
Here.
Manning.
Present.
Nelson.
Here.
DeWitt.
Here.
Scardamai.
Here.
Tenon.
Here.
Okay, we do have all 7 trustees in attendance, meaning we have a quorum. At this time, I'll give the invocation if you'll all bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, please guide us here tonight that we may make the right decisions on items brought before us. As we struggle through this pandemic, please keep our students, teachers, administrators, and staff safe and secure. Please allow all of us to learn without loss until this dreadful disease is defeated. Keep our medical personnel, first responders, military, and the people and leaders of our nation and other nations around the world free of continued devastation and despair. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. This time I'd like to ask Trustee Scardamai to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
America.
to the republic
for which it
On which
stands,
you stand,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As I said earlier, the public was given the opportunity to send in comments, and any comments that were received by the administrative assistant have been forwarded to the board members by email. So we'll go to number 5, monthly bond project update, and I hope Christine Walker is on.
Yes, I am here.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'll start with the Lenny Roberts project update. I believe Linda sent that out to y'all. They have now poured the second floor at the areas A, B, and C. They've completed steel erection in all areas. They're just finalizing the steel detailing at area C. They've completed the masonry wall construction at the gymnasium. They're continuing the wall framing, interior and exterior, and the exterior sheathing. And they've started waterproofing, starting with area B, A, and are moving around to area D. They're continuing electrical and plumbing rough-in and continuing ductwork installation where it is covered by either the floor above or where they have roof decking covering that area. They've now poured the stage in between the dining room and the gymnasium, and they've started installing the storefront windows. The transformer pad has been poured and the transformer was set since I created this update. They should be close to, or they are close to having permanent power now to the building. They've met the last biggest milestone was completing the steel erection. And so now the next milestone that they're working towards is to be dried in with roofing and the waterproofing. So right now, all the critical path items are on schedule as of today's meeting. Do y'all have any questions on that at Lenny Roberts?
Are we on schedule?
Yes, sir. Okay. At the high school re-roof project, they're expecting to be 90% complete with the roofing and wall panels by the end of August. And they're prioritizing right now the areas with student academics. The skylights, due to lead times on production, are expected in late September or early October. And they noted that they're tracking about 3 weeks of rain delays right now. On junior high, teen, and stadium, the main items that we're waiting on are just the final reports for test and balance and commissioning. There's no deficiencies left that are trying to be corrected. It's just getting that final paperwork that goes in the closeout documents. We have the TDR sign off and the paperwork sent into the state on Teeny Homes. Junior high and stadium, there's just one item on both of those that Weaver and Jacobs is getting resolved. At the stadium project, the championship plaques are scheduled to ship on the 21st. And then the varsity accent ceiling is, I guess they had another the manufacturer had another COVID related delay. It's communicated to us today. And so Weaver and Jacobs is really putting some pressure on them now, say, this is going on 2 months, we need to get this done. So trying to figure out what they need to do with that manufacturer. I think the only other items we do have on the agenda tonight are the fabric at the varsity, at the home side and the visitor bleachers, the field events, and then the modified fencing at the south side of the stadium going from 4 foot to 6 foot around that exterior perimeter that we'll discuss later.
Any questions for Ms. Walker?
I'd like to say thank you for pushing that issue in the varsity locker room. That's a big deal to those kids, and we really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Did they get the old ceiling out of the way for you today, sir?
I haven't been over there. No idea.
I think Dallas said that they at least got it off of the floor. It's leaning up against the wall, and they're going to get it hung up on the wall by the end of the week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Ms. Walker? Thank you very much. So we'll go to items of business. Item A, discussion and possible approval of an increase to the 2016 bond project guaranteed maximum price for the following additions to the Memorial Stadium: stretch fabric at the home and visitor bleachers, field events, and fencing. Christine?
Yeah, so I believe in the packet, we have sent you the PCOs for, one is for the fabric at the home and visitor side bleachers. That one is for a total of $247,402.36. And then the other PCO that was included in the packet was for the field events of long jump, triple jump, those raceways, the pole vaults runway, and the shot put concrete pad. And then modifying the fencing to have a 6 foot tall perimeter along that south side of the stadium to deter anyone from jumping over. And that came to a total of $253,745.52. Does anyone have any questions about those two items?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I know we've talked about this, but that 4-foot fence is gonna stay there, right?
Yes, sir. We're only modifying the 4 foot where there's not another foot beyond it. In between the track and where the field events are being located, that will remain as 4 foot.
And how about by the scoreboard?
Correct.
That's gonna be 4 foot all the way on the curve. And then you
Yes, sir.
build a 6-foot fence behind the field events area.
Yes.
Okay,
And in between where the field events fence comes in and going around to the bleachers on either side, that will be replaced with a 6 foot. So there's at least a 6 foot tall around the perimeter,
great.
closing everything.
That's what we need. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coach Trahand, are you getting everything that you need for track and field events on this proposal?
Yes, sir. The only thing the only thing that we need is we don't need to leave all that equipment and everything we have out there outside when the season's over. We need to move that stuff, I would say, underneath the visitor stands and fence it inside the visitor stands. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money that those guys left out last year that just Russ got it. You know what I'm saying? We can't afford to leave that stuff outside. We got to have a place to store it, and most people store it underneath the stands where they're practicing at.
Would a portable building be a better option for that equipment, Coach?
If it's big enough, you know, where we're talking about doing it, it's underneath the visitor stands, and all you have to do is you have a big tall fence there right now that's starting around it. It don't go all the way around it, but it starts around it. And we need to put that fence all the way around it. 2 big gates. We bring the stuff in there. Heck, I'd cover with tarpaulins when we got it in there, just to make sure that where the stands would leak and stuff, water wouldn't get on it.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be glad to go out there and show you what I'm talking about. And I think if a portable building would have to be pretty big to hold all those mats, all those sleds, you know, everything we have, it'd have to be a pretty big building. I'll leave that up to y'all. I mean, that's.
So, Coach,
go ahead.
Yeah, Dallas and I talked about this, about putting an enclosure or fence around one of the sides. Well, the visitor side, we talked about that months ago. Can't really recall what we were actually waiting on. May have been a permit or something that was going on. We talked about enclosing that side. Well,
that'd be great. And I'll tell you what, it's not a big rush because our stuff ain't here for track yet. And we're using during the season, it's going to be out. It's going to be in the weather. But when the season's over with, we want to bring that stuff inside to protect it. I just can't see us spending money on that stuff for not taking care of it. If we take care of it, it'll last us a long time.
there any other questions? on
Just
these
have
two
a,
items?
just a brief general, so we're increasing the maximum bid because we need to add, and so I understand modifications like fence heights and netting, but we didn't, the architects or design team, or I don't know who, but we didn't, I mean, how do we build a facility that's for track, but not have all the track pieces already designed and built and planned ahead of time? And I wasn't on the board when all that happened, so maybe somebody can just enlighten me into what happened there.
Well, I can tell you that during the process, we not only had one, but we had two athletic directors that sat in on the meetings, and the track and field items were not mentioned.
Okay.
That's my recollection.
Okay.
Not trying to throw darts. That's just what
No,
I
I'm
know.
not either. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to follow along because we're obviously increasing and spending more money. I just wanted to understand what was going on. So
Let me piggyback here. The day I brought it up, I brought the same thing up you're bringing up, is how in the heck can you build a track without field events? The next day, the guy that built the track came over and said, "Hey, coach," yeah, he built the track. He came over and said, "Coach, I knew that stuff wasn't there and nobody would listen to me." And that's what I forgot the name of the company he's with, to tell you the truth. We can look it up and see, but this guy knew what he was talking about, and I just don't. That's why he came the next day, was to apologize to me, saying, "Hey man, all my job is to sell you the track, and then I get out of there." I said, that's all I can tell you. My job is, I'm a salesman. I'll sell you the track. Contract. I mean, somebody gave him their architect, somebody gave him a script, and so how to build that thing. And that's what happened. I guess they just forgot about it. Like Mr. Klepak said, we had people in there that didn't bring it up.
we've just had several instances of spending more money along this whole project, from, I mean, the junior high to the teeny homes to this. And so I just want to understand this one. But yeah, I guess it just was an oversight and somebody didn't catch it, and we need it, right? So I mean, I'm obviously going to be for it. So yep.
We have the opportunity to rectify the situation tonight.
Sure.
Is there a motion to be made?
Bob, I have a quick question.
Okay.
The question is in regard to the stretch fabric on the home side and the visitor side. Now that is something that's just put up and left up, and it's kind of decorative to make the stadium to look more appealing. Is that correct, Christine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with that being said, is there a wind rating on it? And we're still in hurricane season all the way to November 1st. And if something were to come in, what is the rating on that as far as?
I'm not sure about the specific rating. I know it is rated for the TDI. We've confirmed with the structural engineer that those attachments the bleachers are designed to accommodate that fabric and have it be installed. I can check to see if there's a specific rating associated with it and email it to Dr. Scott and Mr. Johnson and have them forwarded on to you.
Sure. Yeah, that was the question. I just want to make sure, we don't have, like a tropical storm come through and just with a 60-mile-an-hour wind or, something like that, it rips everything up and we had to start over.
Okay, I'll double check.
Good deal.
Anything else?
Just one quick clarification. I think I know the answer. I just want to make sure we discuss it out loud because this is the public's money. This isn't increasing anybody's taxes. I mean, we have the money to do this, right? Can somebody speak to the finances on this real quick, and then I'll make a motion.
So I would say the answer is yes. No, we're not going to increase anybody's taxes. This was originally a part of the building process for the stadium. For some reason or another, it wasn't calculated or it wasn't put into the design factor. And if you actually go out and look at the picture outside of the football stadium, you'll see that the tarp is on there. And when that was brought to my attention, then I brought it to the president's attention, and we thought that it would just enhance the look of the stadium. And again, it was part of the original build. So that's why we're actually coming back to bring this before the board. Not really sure how it was taken off or why it was taken off at that point. It may have had something to do with the funding and the monies at that time, but we do have the money to actually pay for this.
Thank you. I'll make a motion that we increase the 2016 bond project guarantee maximum price for the discussed additions to the Memorial Stadium.
Motion been made by trustee Scartama. Is there a second to his motion?
Second that.
Seconded by trustee DeWitt. Is there any other discussion? If not, we'll take a roll call vote. Clepak, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Scartama,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries by 7-0. Thank you very much, Christine, for yours and Claycom's work on the field event stuff. So we'll go to item B, discussion and possible approval of the proposal for design inspections and WPI 8 certification for a completed construction project for Bay City High School as prepared by Lynn Engineering.
Yes, so this is following up on verifying, I think y'all had never received whether the high school building itself was certified for TDI. And so this is going back and having Lynn Engineering look over the drawings and look at the building itself and verify or certify the building. So that way, if you certify the roof as well, then you can go for the TDI or TWIA insurance. Right now you have a separate insurance, I think, but you're paying higher premiums than you could get potentially through Texas Windstorm Insurance Association.
I noticed that the proposal from Lynn Engineering said that it wouldn't be over $120,000. Would that include any consultation with architects, et cetera? Or do you know?
I'm trying to look at, I would have to double check. I do not remember seeing anything specifically if they would consult with the previous architects. I know that they would look at those previous drawings. I can ask Lynn Engineering to confirm.
Question for Mr. Johnson. What would be the advantage for the school district to go ahead and do this?
Well, yes, I visited with our insurance underwriter, or our agent, actually not an underwriter. And she said that the advantage would go ahead and do this would be right now, it kind of like, it's like a pendulum in the sense that some years it's better to go with the pool or with the windstorm pool as far as obtaining, I guess, windstorm coverage, but then some years it's better to stay with like we are right now with our kind of private carrier. She said, if we went ahead and got this done, then we'd be flexible going forward. So like if, for example, if the state rates really dropped for the same amount of coverage, then we would have the flexibility to switch over to that product. Right now, in her opinion, our rate is as good as it's going to get with using the insurance that we've secured for this year. But It's mainly for flexibility going forward. That's what she explained to me.
So just so I'm understanding, we're spending up to $120,000 now to save money on premiums now and in the future. How long does it take to recoup the cost of getting the certification?
I do not have an answer for that, how long it would take.
Okay. How much are we going to save this year?
By getting this inspection? Okay, we won't be saving anything this year by getting this inspection for the current year that we're in right now. Now, going forward, when we renew in March, we may save depending on how the market is.
Okay.
But as far as the year that we're in right now, it's already set for until March 1st.
Okay.
So Rick, a question would be, once we get this done, then what's going to be the estimated cost for the insurance then?
Yes, sir. I do not know the answer to that question. I definitely can find out.
It sounds like we might need to table this, Bob, until we get Christine to answer the question that you posed to her, and maybe do some estimations of what we would have saved this year or next year according to the market.
I can do that as far as the checking what the cost would have been if we actually projection going forward, what the cost will be for next year if we have the certification. That's really what we need to know.
Right.
And I'll check in with Lynn Engineering to see if they do any kind of contact with the original architect, or if it's just looking at their drawings.
So is it the board's desire to postpone this agenda item until we have this additional information?
I'm sorry. I think we would, because $120,000 is a lot of money. We have the building insured, and I don't believe that the savings will be that substantial. Usually you get a surcharge with TWIA of 25%. And I don't know how much the building is insured for or anything like that, but I mean, it'll take several years to be able to recoup that amount of money. I mean, I'm just factoring off the top of my head by the numbers I see every day, and I'm probably going to say anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
So under the current insurance that we have, without this certification of the building, does that mean that we cannot buy windstorm insurance for the rest of the building other than the roof that we're putting on? Is that the way I understand it?
No, we have insurance. It's fully covered right now for the value that's on the schedule. As far as our insurance agent has, we definitely have full coverage as far as windstorm and hurricane.
Okay.
I can tell you this. I mean, just so we can look at percentages and whatnot, but I was insuring a building. It was about 1.2 million, and through TWIA, it was going to be roughly around $12,000 a year, just on a $1.2 million building, which is a new structure, as a matter of fact. We went to another company, and they were going to insure the building for $6,000. Same coverage and everything. So that just kind of gives you kind of like an idea of the savings you can get by having the WPI-8 certificate versus not having the WPI-8 certificate. And not only that, but if TWIA is going to write us, usually because we do not have the certification that we need, they're going to mark us up another 25%. So there's a lot of money going around there. There's a lot of money to be saved, but unless we look at the actual numbers, it's going to be kind of guesswork.
Okay, well, we'll postpone that agenda item until possibly the September regular meeting. If
Bob,
we
do you
have
need a
any-
motion to table that?
I don't think so.
Yep.
All right, let's go to item C. Christine, thank you very much, by the way, for everything you've done for us up to this point, okay?
You're very
Yeah,
welcome.
We're glad to see you this evening.
Glad to see y'all too. Let me know if there's anything that y'all need, have questions on.
Yep. Have a safe trip home.
Thanks. I'm here. right.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, so we'll go to item C, closed session. Consultation with legal counsel regarding limitation on appraised value of property application by Rome America. Application number 1483, including draft agreement. We'll go into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.071, 551.087, and 551.129. And I believe Mr. Murphy is setting us up for closed session, which we will enter into at 7:29.
Yes, sir,
What-
Mr. Jack. You need just a few minutes. I'm going to set up this breakout room for closed session. And I do not see Miss Matias in the roster as a participant. Is that correct?
She's not available tonight. I'll cover her part. This is
Okay.
Oscar.
Sounds good. I will create this room and you'll get your pop-ups shortly. Miss Moyle.
Yes, sir.
Would you double check and make sure I have everybody in the room I need to have?
Yes, sir. It looks
Participant?
like yes, it looks like all board members, they are no longer listed on the participant list, as well as Oscar is also not listed on the participant list at this point.
Okay.
So I'm
So,
assuming that means they're in the breakout room.
yes. So what I did is I looked at what my other districts were doing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I learned
Mhm.
was do not create your breakout room until it's time for the closed session.
Okay.
That's what we did today. And
Okay.
worked very well, looks
Good.
like.
Good.
And we didn't do the training with the board members,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't think we needed to.
Yeah,
But-
but are we still streaming?
Yes, we are, but I'll edit this out.
Okay. We're live streaming? This is right now?
Yeah, we are, but I will edit it. I've got like 60 seconds to do this.
Okay.
So, but yeah, everything looks good.
And it seemed like board members logged on successfully tonight, so good job.
Okay, thank you.
You're on mute, Bob.
Let me start over. We're back into open session at 7:42. After discussion and closed session, I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve the draft agreement with Rome America and to have the final agreement presented to the board after the controller's approval. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second to Scartamai?
I'll second it.
Nelson.
Nelson.
Nelson, okay, Nelson, okay. Motion been made and seconded by Coach Nelson. Is there any other discussion? If not, we'll take a voice vote. Clepac, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Muted to John.
Yes.
Scartamai,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0. Move to item D, open session. Oh, sorry, we already did that one. Item E, discuss and consider approval of draft asynchronous plan for virtual learning during the 2020-2021 school year. Ms. Moya.
Good evening, board members. What you are going to see hopefully on your screen is a PowerPoint about our synchronous and asynchronous learning plan. Can one of, Mr. Cardamai, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see that? Okay, great.
Screen is good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to first of all start off with, I want to thank our campus administrators and our teacher leaders and our teachers. I cannot tell you how hard this team has worked at each campus over the last 3 weeks to put together this plan. In a very short time, they have done a very excellent job of putting together a comprehensive plan. And so just to kind of let you know the background of this, in fall of 2020, Bay City transitioned to a Google Classroom platform and started Google Classroom basic training. And then of course, last spring, when COVID closed us down, teachers began truly starting to use and experiment with Google Classroom. In the spring of 2020, we also had additional training for our staff. Texas Lesson Study personnel from Region 3, as well as the instructional facilitators from Bay City, really started training teachers on now advanced implementation of digital learning in Google Classroom. And so looking forward, we started this with budget planning last spring, and I want to thank the board for their commitment in our technology pursuits, because we started planning a 1-to-1 initiative for PK through 12, and we started to plan the initiative to have a live stream document camera in every classroom. Thanks to your commitment, that is a reality today. We have Chromebooks in our district to provide one Chromebook for every 3,700 students in this district. We have Wi-Fi access for every single family who will need Wi-Fi access. And every teacher will have a document camera in their classroom this fall that can live stream their instruction. I don't know of many other districts that are in that shape right now, so I really thank the board for their commitment to that in budgeting. This summer, in preparation, knowing that the fall may look different, we planned quite a bit of professional development and everything focused on digital learning. Our focus was implementation in the classroom of Google Classroom, basic and advanced, digital learning resources, and also the Zoom meetings. Everything that our teachers participated in this summer, they actually participated as a student in Zoom. So they got to flip that learning and learn what it's like to be a student in a Zoom meeting and participate, respond to the presenter or to the teacher just as if they were a student. So that was a really valuable experience for them. What I'm going to share with you right now is a list I thought I was going to share that with you. I'm sorry. Hang on just a second. Of all of the virtual learning that we did this summer with teachers. And you can see that, I think. Now, can everybody see this list of trainings? Thank you, Mr. Scardamai. So you can see, I'm very proud of our district. For our 4A district, we did a ton of training starting in June all the way through July and August to kind of prepare our teachers for what was coming. So part of our timeline was July 21st, TEA released the guidance on virtual learning. Then our teacher leaders started meeting with instructional coaches, facilitators, and campus administrators. On the 24th, we published the back to school blueprint with some general models of what this would look like. Then we opened enrollment for our parents. July 25th, all the way through August 9th, parents had the opportunity to enroll their students in virtual learning for the fall. Even up until today, campuses are continuing to work on adjusting master schedules as students register for virtual learning. Last week, our junior high, and then tonight, our elementary started something very unique, a new form of Meet the Teacher, where we also distributed Chromebooks to every class, every student and family, and also the students and the parents went through a virtual learning orientation to make sure they knew how to log in, what their Google Classroom codes were, what the attendance expectations were, and they also received a virtual learning handbook. Tonight, we're reviewing the synchronous attestation and asynchronous draft plan with you. August 20th, our first day of school, of course, where everybody will be learning virtually and will gradually transition back onto campus. In September, we will continue to work on this draft plan with the Region Center. That's something we want you to know tonight, that this is a draft asynchronous plan. We will be tweaking through the first week or so of learning because we know what we don't know yet. We're going to learn a lot through the first week. Also, Region 3 is helping every district with their plan because this is a plan that we have to submit to TEA to be graded for the final submission in October. So the TEA guidelines that we followed, we will have synchronous live streaming for grade 3 through 12. For grade PK through 2, TEA recommends asynchronous learning. Now that can include some synchronous learning. That means some live streaming will be available. We must align our virtual instruction 100% with our TEKS. We must use the same scope and sequence and pacing that we use in the in-campus model. We must ensure curriculum alignment, instructional material alignment, and the grading policies will be the same as the in-person model. We must track daily attendance either through the synchronous live stream session or daily engagement and progress in the assigned learning activities. And of course, provide all the necessary learning supports to all of our special populations. So for grade 3 through 12, what is that going to look like? Students will log in daily to synchronous live stream lessons. For grade 3 through 5, that'll be their 4 core subjects, which is language arts, math, science, and social studies. For grades 6 through 10, they will have a full 8-period day, which is synchronous. They will live into every class period, including their electives. What you're experiencing right now is basically what students will experience. You're seeing my computer screen, but you're hearing my voice. So during a lesson, students will see the lesson, either what is on the document camera or what the teacher is presenting through the computer, but they will hear the teacher's voice. They'll be able to interact with students through Zoom. They'll be able to use the chat feature. They'll be able to raise their hand through Zoom. So they will be able to hear what the teacher is presenting and see the material. They'll be able to verbally interact. There will be breaks for lunch, recess, and specials classes at grade 3 through 5. The Google Classroom will be used for specials classes such as technology, music, art, PE. And the assignments and the activities and any assessments that teachers use will be the same assignments, activities, and assessments that are used in the classroom. So the students that are sitting in class for the in-person model will receive the same direct teach. Their assignments will be loaded on Google Classroom, and they'll start to work independently on Google Classroom with help from the teacher, while the students who are live streaming and attending the live stream virtually will have the same assignments pushed out to them through Google Classroom. The grading will be the same for on-campus students as it is for virtual students. For grade pre-K through 2, because this is an asynchronous plan, it does look a little bit different. And I'm going to show you those schedules in just a few minutes. We will provide sample schedules to parents or caregivers so that they can replicate a full day at home. They will have daily live scheduled streaming portions. For example, read aloud, calendar time, guided reading, and guided math lessons. Of course, for pre-K through 2, it's more developmentally appropriate that those opportunities are going to be very short. Rather than a 45-minute period, it might be a 15 or 20-minute mini lesson, and then they'll take breaks in between. For grade 1 and 2, they will log in for parts of language arts, math, science, and social studies, so that they will receive some direct teach. They will also probably be logging in for their guided reading groups once those get started after the first week of school, so that teachers are reading with them daily, and they are participating in the leveled reading groups as they would if they were in the in-person. So I'm going to show you a sample schedule, I think. Let's see if I can show you this. Can you see that sample schedule that I've put up on the screen? This is an early childhood schedule. This is for our 3-year-olds, but I want to move to the pre-K schedule. You can see that everything highlighted here in yellow will be synchronous. So approximately 15 minutes for the Cherry morning meeting will be live streamed. And then their morning routines, they do music, movement, calendar, or a read aloud during that time. Then later in the morning, guided literacy and independent literacy activities for about 20 minutes will be live streamed. And then guided math and independent math stations will be live streamed so that the teacher can interact. The areas where you see gray will be areas that the teacher posts either in Google Classroom, or we have different online learning programs such as Lexia Reading and ST Math, where they will assign certain learning activities for the student to complete. And those will be the asynchronous times. The white times that you see will be break times during the day. And this gives you a sample schedule. Whoops. I apologize. I think I logged out. William, I might need your help to get back to where I need to be.
The Zoom there on the bottom right corner. Share screen. Here we go.
Are we back on screen now? Can everybody see? I apologize. Oops.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, we'll go back to, here we go. Okay, daily considerations. Can everyone see that? Is that full screen for you, Mr. Scardamai? I'm
It's not
sorry.
full screen. Yeah, your slides are on the left.
I apologize.
Resume slideshow.
There we go. Now can you see full screen?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
apologize, my live links. We also have in this a home schedule, a Bay City Junior High schedule and high school schedule. They will follow their same exact 8-period schedule that they do as if they were in person. And those Google Classroom codes are being sent out to students right now as we speak. Key considerations: attendance will be taken daily in live stream sessions. Assignments and activities need to be completed daily in Google Classroom. Daily progress will be measured in online learning programs for reading and math. Teachers will be available for virtual conferences with parents during their conference times or before and after school. We've also included for our parents very specific instructions how they can view their child's grades, progress, and attendance in Parent Portal. Of course, we've talked about progress reports, report cards, and grading will be the same as it is for on-campus students. And families will be able to request a change of instructional model at the end of the 6-week grading period. Exceptions will be considered by the campus administrator in the cases of if it's needed for illness or COVID, things like that. What I'm especially excited to show you is all of the wonderful things that our team has put together to support parents through the process. You may have seen this flyer. Our staff, our teachers, and instructional coaches have put together a fabulous virtual orientation for the students. There's a PowerPoint that they go through. They actually help parents and students log on if they need help. And so we want to guarantee success for our students the very first day they log on. Also, in your board book, you have a document that is also called our Elementary and Secondary Virtual Learning Guide for Families. And if you've gone through this document, you'll be able to see that there's very specific instructions. We have expectations for our learners, for our parents, a very specific outline of what their day will look like, their attendance expectations and schedules. Those sample schedules that I showed you are there for parents to reference. Any questions that they have about assessments, special programs such as 504 Special Ed, our English language learners, or our honors students, there are questions there. Helpful tips for our parents, as well as helpful tips how to log into Google Classroom and how to log into live streaming. And so both of those documents are in your board book for your reference. Do you have any questions about those documents? Okay. I'm trying to go back to the PowerPoint. Sorry, having a little technical difficulty again. So that concludes our PowerPoint. All of these things are also outlined in your board book, in the asynchronous plan, asynchronous instructional plan. It's just in a TEA template format, but this hits the highlights of everything that is in that plan. Do the board members have any questions that I can answer about virtual learning?
I have one question. So as far as like the kids that are doing the virtual learning, how are we going to guarantee like the integrity of their work as far as cheating is concerned?
That's a very good question, Mr. Tenen. Of course, most of the time that they'll be completing work, they'll be live streaming with the teacher for those core subjects, or of course for secondary for those 8 periods a day. Right. There are several districts, I will tell you, that are looking into web browser lockdown systems. We are exploring that right now. I am in a chat group with people who are testing coordinators across the district. And that's one of the challenges that I think every district is having, is that there is a lot of inconsistencies in web browser lockdowns. So we have not necessarily decided on one that will work very well with Google Classroom, which seems to be the widely used LMS. What I'm seeing from other districts, they're using various products, but with various levels of success. So we are really waiting for the technology to catch up with us on that. As much as possible, we will administer work. Students will complete independent assignments and tests while they're live streaming. And that'll be the best way that we can ensure that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm asking, because I've had some questions already about, especially like once they get to the high school level, and those students are trying to get those top spots, and I just don't want to.
Sure. Yes, sir. Please know we're actively looking for a lockdown browser that will be successful with Google Classroom. We haven't found one that is 100% yet, but we're working on that.
What is a lockdown browser?
A lockdown browser means that if I'm a student and I'm taking a test online, I can't open another window and research answers, let's say on the web, that only I can see what I'm taking on the test. Does that make sense?
We just have to assume they're not holding their phone below their cameras.
Yes, and that's our challenge, I think, even with a lockdown browser, that so many students have multiple devices. I will tell you, that's uncharted territory for us. That's one of the things we'll be working on in our plan.
One of the questions I had, I only wrote one down. I think you guys did a great job putting this together, especially with the time constraints. This is stuff that takes years to formulate, and you guys put it all together pretty quick. So kudos to you. But third through fifth seems like it's only about a half a day. And then the rest of the day is either breaks or asynchronous. And so they could pretty much complete that at their own pace. Is that the general gist there? I mean,
Well, let me go back to a grade 3 through 5 schedule. Let me see if I can get to that. Actually, their whole day will be synchronous, except their specials class. And their specials class is about an hour a day. And of course, their lunchtime, which is 30 minutes, and their recess. So if you look at their schedule, it will actually be quite a bit of synchronous time.
okay.
So I'm going to try to navigate back to that.
So the white was synchronous and the gray was asynchronous?
Yes, let me go back to that. William's here helping me, and I'm having trouble getting back. I'm going to stop share for just a second and open the PowerPoint again.
Miss Moya,
Yes, sir.
may I interrupt?
Sure, please do.
The point of the lockdown browser, we have the ability within our district to do the Respondus lockdown browser. The problem is for the high school, they're going to these community colleges and we don't have control over that, but we are ordering laptops that have the ability for the college to control the lockdown browser on those. But within our district, we can control that lockdown browser.
Yeah.
Does that help with what you were talking about?
Yes, that may definitely help. Oops.
Now go back to the PowerPoint.
So Aaron, explain the process a little more.
Okay. So what happens is with the Respondus is the biggest lockdown browser out there. And that's what every college uses, every community college anyway. We can do that in the Chromebook within our environment because we have control over our Chromebooks. The only way the Respondus lockdown browser works is if we put those Chromebooks into a group and put them into kiosk mode. That's where when somebody powers it on, it comes up into the lockdown browser. We can do that within our district. The problem is that I've seen so far with the high school for the dual credit students, we can't do that because it's the community college that is pushing out those tests. But if we do those tests within district, then we can control it. We can put the Chromebooks in the kiosk mode. They come up in that lockdown browser and the students can take their tests.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. That's something definitely we need to work on.
Aaron, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Ms. Moya. Correct me if I'm wrong. When a test is taken in Respondus, doesn't it record them as well as they're taking the test?
It does.
Okay.
The webcam photographs the child as they're taking tests. Yes, it does.
So, like, it's known hey, clear your desk, no books, no laptops, no phones. Keep your eyes, don't let your eyes wander. You have to keep it on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But there is a way around that. But
Okay.
that's the best effort.
Gotcha.
Maybe it was, Lisa, maybe it was that pre-K and K schedule where it looked like it was synchronous in the morning and then the afternoon wasn't. Because, yeah, that's a full
Yes,
day.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes,
And
sir,
that's
that's
probably more appropriate at their age anyways. I mean, I don't, yeah.
Yes, sir, that was correct. There, for the little ones, most of their synchronous time is in the morning when they're fresher, and the asynchronous provides a more flexible learning environment in the afternoon with their parent or caregiver. What you see here is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and everything that is on white will actually be synchronous. Everything that is in blue is either a break, of course, for lunch, or specials, which is asynchronous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I apologize. I couldn't get back to that schedule quickly.
It's fine. I don't know why I got them mixed up in my head that it was the 3rd or 5th, but yeah, it was the younger kids, and yeah, and then they can just be at your own pace in the afternoon.
Yes, sir.
So, okay.
I have another quick question, like other than, the cheating aspect of it. So like, just say for instance, for math classes, how are our teachers, let's say the kid, basically is going to be submitting answers. How are our teachers going to be able to see if it's a wrong answer, like where the breakdown is, like within the work, how to, their work when they're working the problem out?
So they do have the ability, the students will be able to have the ability to show their work to the teacher or submit their work through Google Classroom. Their notes, take a picture, things like that, whatever the teacher feels most comfortable, what method they feel most comfortable for the student to submit that. You're right. It's a little more challenging, I think, in math, because they do show their work, but there are ways that we've given teachers options that they can have students submit to the teacher to show their work there. It doesn't have to be all just multiple choice. For example, they see the answer only.
Right.
Yes, sir. Any other questions that I can answer for you tonight?
So I just have a couple comments, Lisa. First of all, I want to say thank you to you and your team, and also the teachers for working so hard on this and putting this together so quickly. And to Trustee Scardamai's point, I mean, if you look at the time frame in which all of these things have been done, it's really something to be applauded in our district. In less than 3 years, you go from iPads to having one-to-one devices for all of our students. You also go from limited internet access to the district providing those resources for all of our students to ensure that we don't have any opportunity gaps. The Google Classroom and the training that we took on, I'm gonna say roughly 2 years ago, was not in anticipation of COVID. Nobody saw this, but we were very well prepared to switch to the digital learning. And again, hats off to not only the board for approving many of these purchases, but also, again, the teachers who've taken on such a tremendous task. I would not want to be in any other school district at this point. I will tell you, and I will continue to say that we are leaps and bounds ahead of other school districts, larger and smaller, in our preparation to deal with this digital learning. So again, thanks to the entire team.
Does that conclude your presentation, Ms. Moya, on asynchronous?
Yes, sir, it does. And I believe you probably have board language to approve the draft of that.
I do.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for Ms. Moya before I do that? Okay, I move to approve the draft of the asynchronous plan for virtual learning during the 2020-2021 school year, and to authorize the superintendent to revise as necessary and submit to the Texas Education Agency on the board's behalf. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Tenon. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Clepack, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Gardameyer,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries by 7-0 vote.
Mr. President, one more comment quickly about the plan that this team will commit to bringing the plan back before the board, whether it's the email or at a board meeting before we submit it to the state, if there are any adjustments made.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we'll move to item F, approval of synchronous learning attestation. Ms. Moya.
Yes, sir. This is a requirement by the state as well that we will submit a synchronous attestation. And this is in your board book. I'm going to share it now. We're asking for your approval. We are attesting to these 12 indicators that you see on this document that we will provide for grade 3 through 12 as part of our synchronous learning plan. And these were covered in the PowerPoint that I just presented.
Are there any questions on item F? If not, is there a motion to approve the synchronous learning attestation?
I'll make a motion to approve the synchronous.
Motion made by trustee Scardemeyer. Is there a second to his motion?
I second it.
Seconded by trustee Cole. Any other discussion? Take a roll call vote. Clepack, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Scardemeyer,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Motion carries by 7-0. Item G, presentation of elementary and secondary school student handbooks. Ms. Moya, once again.
Yes, sir. I have no PowerPoint for this, but in your board book, you have a copy of the elementary and secondary student handbooks. Every year we present this to you. This is not a action item. It's just that we want you to be informed what are in those handbooks. I will tell you there were no major changes in those handbooks this year because it was not a legislative year. So we have no major edits or changes to those, unless you have questions upon your viewing of the handbooks.
Any questions for Ms. Moya on the elementary and secondary student handbooks?
Okay.
Okay, thank you once again, Ms. Moya.
Thank you.
We'll move to item H, vote on proposed tax rate and set date for public hearing and approval of final tax rate. Mr. Johnson.
Okay, good evening. This is a yearly item that we're going to, at this meeting, we're going to propose a tax rate. The administration is going to propose a tax rate, both M&O and INS, and also set a meeting to adopt the tax rate, which will be at the September 21st board meeting next month. I'm going to try to share a document from Kristen Hallmark, our tax assessor collector. Okay. 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 This is a after kind of the process is that I submit calculations based upon the current summary of finance to the tax assessor collector here locally, Kristen Hallmark. And so whenever I give her all the information from the data for the projection of the income and revenue and everything for next year, ADA, every lots and lots of calculations and data from our summary of finance, we're on run 4 right now for this current year going forward for 2020-21. And this, let me see. Can y'all, wait, how do we tell?
They should be able to see it.
Okay,
We can see.
just 1 second, sorry. The document that she has sent to us, certified document, says that Bay City ISDs, they have a new rate on the report on this letter. The Bay City ISDs 2020 no new revenue tax rate is $1.59991. But the more important rate is the maintenance and operations tax rate that we're going to adopt. The proposed for today is 0.94250. So it's not a little over 94 cents for the M&O rate. The reason for the reduction has to do with House Bill 3, and it's a cause for it to reduce at this time, sorry. And then the INS rate that we're going to propose is 0.48890, which is 49 cents, of which we'll use to pay our debt requirement for our bonded debt. And then the total voter approved tax rate that we're proposing is $1.43140, or just over a little bit over $1.43. And then currently the 2020 certified tax value for this current year as provided by the appraisal district for M&O purposes is $1,459,850,864. And the INS taxable value, certified taxable value is $1,598,092,354. And the freeze taxable being $128,868,505. And the over 65 estimated actual tax is $1,186,100. These different elements that we have previously not included on this document is mainly the freeze taxable being 128 million. And then if I want to go up, this is a copy. This is the actual draft that you will approve on actually September 21st at the meeting. But the maintenance tax that the district is proposing is 94.25 cents per $100 valuation. And the INS rate would be 48,890 per $100 valuation to pay bonded debt. This is also a summary page that goes, document that gets posted in the newspaper before the next meeting. It informs the public, for example, that the proposed budget for last year that y'all adopted in June, the maintenance and operation, comparing this year that we adopted to last year, excuse me, is 5.98% increase. The debt service, 6.21% increase over the prior year. And then the total expenditures from the previous year to the one we just adopted is 6%. And then of interest is the total appraised value of all property for the preceding tax year is 1.7 million, and this year is 1,893,000. I'm sorry, I misspoke. 1,701,144,643, and then the current tax year is 1,893,000. No, $1,893,710,491. I'm sorry. So what this means is the total taxable value proposed rate for maintenance and operations, 94.9425 cents and 48,890 cents for a total taxable rate of $1.43140. And the $1.43140 is the maximum rate that we can levy for this next year without going for a tax for a rollback election. So the highest tax rate that the district can adopt before requiring voter approval is $1, I'm sorry, $1.43,140. I apologize. And so then at this point, if there are any questions, I'll entertain those. And then the next thing would be make a motion to adopt this proposed tax rate and also set a meeting for September 21st.
Rick, I always try to break this down in layman's terms as much as I can. So basically, we're going to lower the tax rate by 10 cents and still collect enough money to pay all of our budget and even probably collect enough money or a little bit of an excess to pay our debt revenue, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Rick, I noticed on Ms. Hallmark's letter there, it says we need to have that in by September the 20th, and our board meeting is on September 21. Is that going to create a problem or not?
That doesn't create a problem. She always has that September around the 20th date, which is a Sunday. And so the normal process is, and we always discuss this during this time period, is the next morning after we adopt the tax rate, I take the signed document to them and they start their process of producing tax statements. But this is not a problem. I've verified that with her. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Johnson? If not, is there a motion to approve the tax rate?
I'll make a motion to approve the tax rate.
Motion been made by trustee Scartama. Is there a second to his motion?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee DeWitt. Any other discussion? Take a voice vote. Clepack, yes. Cole?
Yes.
Manning?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
DeWitt?
Yes.
Scartama?
Yes.
Tenon?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Do you have anything else to add?
No, sir. I just want to thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate it. Move to item I, approval of consent agenda. Item 1, approval of minutes of previous meeting. A, regular board meeting, July 20, 2020. B, board workshop, July 23rd, 2020. C, special board meeting, July 30, 2020. Item 2, approval of June and July 2020 financial report. 3, approval of 2020 appraisal roll. 4, first reading approval of board policy update 115 affecting local policies, BF local board policies, DIA local employee welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment and retaliation, FB local equal educational opportunity, FD local admissions, FEB local attendance accounting, FFH local student welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment and retaliation, FNG local student rights and responsibilities, student and parent complaints and grievances, GF local public complaints. Is there any item that any trustee would like removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion been made by trustee DeWitt. Is there a second to his motion? Is there a second to DeWitt, trustee DeWitt's
I
motion?
second.
Seconded by trustee Cole. Take a voice vote. Clepack, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Scartama,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to item J, approval of employment of personnel. Ms. Volkmer.
Good evening, board. The administration recommends the elections as presented in board book.
Thank you. Would any trustee like to go into closed session? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the employment of personnel as listed in board book?
I move that we approve the personnel that's as presented in board book.
Motion made by trustee Manning. Is there a second to his motion?
I'll
I
second.
second Nelson.
Who was
Nelson.
first?
Nelson.
Trustee
I'll
Nelson,
second.
second
Yeah.
by trustee Nelson. Okay, take a voice vote on it. Clepak, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Scartabine,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. And now we'll go to the Region 3 Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Marshall Scott's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Trustees, you can look in your board book for the statements from Claycomb and Associates. Also, you'll find there your student activity accounts for each campus. You'll find resignations as well. Also, there's going to be a virtual TASA and TASB convention this year. We won't be meeting in person, and that's going to be from September the 30th, 2020 through October the 2nd, 2020. In communications, we had one thank you note that was sent in, and I'll just read it to you all. Dear BCISD School Board, Dr. Scott, Ms. Moria, and Ms. Moria, all who have been a part of planning for the 2020-21 school year, thank you. You have before you a monumental and daunting task, and I want you to know how much I appreciate all the work you have put into coming up with the best solution. I know that the interests of our staff and students have been foremost in all of your conversations, and I trust you all to come up with a workable plan. I continue to pray for wisdom for all involved and divine patience for all of us waiting to hear how it's going to go. Thank you again. Wendy Hecht, 5th grade, says Tenny Holmes 5th grade. Thanks for that feedback. And I also want to echo her sentiments around the thank you, not only to the teachers and staff, but also to this board. There's conversations going on around the community of here and there about why decisions are made. I don't think there's a person sitting on this school board or an administrator in the school district who believes that they're not making the right decision for kids. That's why we're all here. That's why we do the work that we're doing. We may not always agree, but one thing I do know, and I will speak on behalf of the school board, is that everybody's intention is to do what they believe is right for students and the employees in this district. So hats off, not only to the team, but to the board as well. I sent the board an email a little earlier today, just based on the registration that we actually have. And it appears that we have 77 more students registered. If they all show up on Thursday, then our enrollment will increase by 77 students. And I will say that, that's evidence of the work that we're actually doing here in the school district, the opportunities that we're offering for students educationally, and even some of the extracurricular opportunities we actually have. Just want to give one note, and this will conclude my comments, is that our Black Hat Blueprint is ever evolving. It's ever changing. I will commit to the community that we are reviewing some of the safety procedures that we actually put in and some of the recommendations that we've made. And we'll have additional information out to you, hopefully, I will say within the next week, with some of the adjustments that we'll possibly make. To Lisa's point that she made earlier, this is ever evolving. We won't have all of the right answers starting out, and I don't know anyone who would facing a situation that they've never faced before. But please believe this administration is working hard and diligently on behalf of every single student in this district, every single employee in this district. And quite honestly, we're working the best we can for the entire community as we continue to put safety measures in place while also providing the best educational opportunities we can for our students. Mr. President, that concludes my comments.
Thank you very much, Dr. Scott. Well said. And we appreciate everything that all of you are doing in the buildings for us, for our students and our community. Thank you wholeheartedly. With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion
I'll
to
make that
adjourn.
motion.
So move.
Who made it?
DeWitt can have it, I'll second it, or Manning, it don't matter.
Okay, the trustee DeWitt, did you make the motion?
Now,
Yes.
man made the motion and Scott and I second the motion and we ready to vote.
Okay, who made the motion?
Jerry,
Jerry Manning? And the second was by who?
James
Scott.
Scottermeyer.
Sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
James Cartermeyer. So we have a motion and a second. Let's take a voice vote. Clepak, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Cartermeyer,
Yes.
Tenon.
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. So we are adjourned at 8:33. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Be safe.